And there may be some folks listening today, Sammy, who 2006 will go down in the annals of the record of their life as being one of those years. And I think that's really in some ways what it has been with you with regard to what you've found in the research of your family and the writing of the book on how to pray for your family. But where God has shown you something, it's not like 2005 or 2003 or 1988. Mm-hmm. That it may have been that this past year was something that was intended to establish a place of spiritual authority, which is a place of confidence. You know some things you didn't know before mm-hmm. about God, about who you are and His plan. Mm-hmm. And I just think we're supposed to not rush and leave that place of remembrance and rejoicing, so just rush off into something new, because there may never be another year quite like, another revelation quite like that. So, relish that.
Well, when I think back on 2006, and I see how good God was during that period of time, and of course, it was during that time that we launched, He put into my heart about praying for your family, and this year is when we're considering that to be the launch of this. But I look back on 2006 and I see a turning point mm-hmm. in my ministry and life, and that turning point came when I made a decision, and the decision was the Lord spoke to my heart. It was His initiative, and He said, you need to clear out your schedule. And so from the end of February to I think around the middle of June, mm-hmm. we just cleared out my schedule, period. I mean, I just knew that I was not to travel. He did put it in my heart to take one engagement, and our ministry is a part of a conference on revival, renewal at the Cove, Billy Graham's training center. And the Lord said, I want you to go there. And I was one of the speakers as well, but I knew that my purpose in being there was not so much to speak, but to be spoken to, that I needed to just be before the Lord. And in an early morning prayer meeting, God spoke to my heart. Dear African-American pastor friend Crawford Loritz, Dr. Loritz was leading the prayer meeting. He said, we spend half our time asking for prayer requests. Let's just pray. Mm-hmm. Whatever's on your heart, you just mm-hmm. pour it out to God. Mm-hmm. And that's when something was birthed in my heart. God did a cleansing in my heart. God did a deep work in my heart. And out of that, I came out of that prayer meeting. Crawford told me, he says, I just sensed that God is going to do something different, Sammy, with your life. And out of that came this burden, this passion for praying for your family and starting leading. And David, this year we're launching that here in America, but I am so excited. It'll be launched in Armenia within the next 2 months. It will be in Armenia, printed, published, all the materials. It's already been translated. It will be in Farsi. It's been translated. It'll be printed, distributed throughout Iran. It will be in Brazil, distributed throughout Brazil, in Portuguese. So what was birthed in a prayer meeting from just one act of obedience,
So you have to go. It goes back to you making a choice.
Yeah.
Will we make that choice to follow the Lord, or do we just stay in our same pattern?
And you know what? I pray for me, and the reason I'm bringing this up is not to pat myself on the back. I want to this year hear the voice of the Lord. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what God has done to bring me to the place of what we're doing in 2007, but to be still and to know that He is God. Mm-hmm. My temptation is I get so busy that, and we're off to a running start here, that I get so busy, David, that I don't wait upon the Lord. And what He told me, what He did in my life in 2006 was wait upon me.
Yeah.
And so, my prayer is that I'll truly wait upon the Lord in 2007.
Well, Tex, what is it? What are you coming out of 2006 with?
Amazement of what God's done. And I think, like Sammy too, when God calls you to do something, He equips you. At the same time, I have to make a choice to say, okay, if you're calling me to a new situation, a new thing, then there's some old things that have to be put away. And so letting Him show me for this new year, okay, what do you have for me as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, as a grandmother, as in ministry? What's new? And so I think that's a choice that each one of us have to make.
Yeah.
Because we can't necessarily keep walking in the same places if He's called us to a new place.
What about you, David? What are you coming out of this year with and starting with?
Well, there have been places of just real gratitude for us as well. I think we may have mentioned at some other point that our church has been able to move. God has brought us to the place of being debt free. And I know around the world
That's a major deal.
But you know, and around the world, a lot of places there are Christians who churches can't own property. You know, having to meet in houses, and so our freedoms here can be very different than in other places. And boy, how we love and honor and appreciate the persecuted church around the world. But I think it needs to be spoken too that in some of the places where the government may be restrictive in areas and not allow churches to own property, that in some ways can be a blessing, Sammy, because it prevents Christians and congregations from becoming, it helps to prevent them from being real things oriented. And in the United States of America, churches can become very thing oriented, possessions oriented. What we see is that's determining how well we're blessed of God, how much we're blessed of God, and it can be a trap. It can be a subtle trap, but we're rejoicing in the fact that the Lord has led us into a way, and He's made it possible for the church to not have any debt obligations anywhere. We don't owe a bank. There's no mortgage on our property, and the Lord's blessed us with a good bit of property. But it's debt free, and we're just there's I can't tell you what a freedom that I feel down deep. It's not always showing on my face, but down deep, it's man, Lord, thank you that we're not having to write X number dollar check to a lending institution. That all of that money can be put toward people and toward kingdom ministry.
And you know that's what I really think. The scriptures, "Owe no man anything except a debt of love," and things. The purpose of things is to help us to love people. And you know, I preached at Alamo City Sunday, and it was a great blessing, and as it always is, just to be there. But you know, I talked to people that I had not talked to before, and met people after the service who came up to me with needs, and man, deep needs. I mean, incredible needs in their lives, and you know, just realizing, hey, it's not about this and wonderful acreage that we have or this facility that we have. It's about those people. The reason we have that acreage and that plant is because those people are hurting and needy, and this is just a gathering place to minister to those people.
Yeah.